I've been squatting every single day for the last 6 years without fail. And when I say squatting, I don't mean squatting in a gym, squatting under a barbell, or squatting for any kind of performance goals. What I mean is squatting down into a resting position and just hanging out there, chilling out there, making that your natural sitting position instead of using chairs, instead of sitting on the couch while you're waiting for the bus, while you're reading a book. The resting squat should be accessible to every human being. The reason why it's not is because of sedentary lifestyles, lack of movement, poor movement patterns, and years of neglecting your body. And in this video, I want to tell you what happened over the course of that first year. And I want to show you how you can integrate this habit into your life, into your daily routine, in order to see incredible transformative results. When I first undertook this squatting challenge, I could not squat anywhere near my ass to the grass. Everything was sore, everything was hurting, and for me, it was like a wake-up call. I had gone into this squatting challenge thinking that I was an elite athlete. I could run, I could lift, I was strong, I looked the part, I played a sport. But I couldn't do a natural resting human position that my grandmother at 85 years old could do, that you see people in Southeast Asian countries doing all day long. I thought to myself, there was some kind of disconnect here. High-level athlete has no ability to do a natural human movement. And amongst other things, squatting was just part of that paradigm shift for me. And it was from that moment, that challenge, after I undertook those first 30 days, my life was completely transformed. And I'll tell you what, such a simple habit that anyone can integrate into their daily life without changing anything, but that is so transformative. And the funny thing is, we're not even training. We are just building habits, natural human habits, and bringing back the things that we have lost somewhere along the way. If you look at children, if you look at toddlers, all of them have the ability to squat beautifully. Their movements are just spectacular. All you have to do is observe and you will know that you too had that at some point. But somewhere along the line, society, adulthood, inhibitions, self-limiting beliefs, something got in the way of you being able to express yourself freely as a human should. So my goal is to bring this back. It's bringing human movement back to the people. And for me, it all starts with a squat. And that's why I am so passionate, borderline obsessed with squatting. I want every single person to be able to bring that back into their life and to have the ability to squat with freedom. The reason why I started this squatting challenge in the first place was because a mentor of mine at the time put this challenge out online, calling out to people to squat. And it was very foreign at the time for most of those people undertaking that challenge because we had lost this ability. And for myself, sitting in that squat 5-10 minutes a day initially, it was painful. My knees were hurting, my hips were hurting, my spine was hurting, everything was hurting. And I thought to myself, no way can I spend 30 minutes accumulated in this position. It was humbling, it was a stroke to the ego, and it made me freaking angry. I thought to myself, how can you think you're an elite level athlete when you cannot do this? And that first month, that was like a struggle city. It was going through those emotional pains, physical pains, and coming out the other side, I now realize just how transformative it is. So if you undertake this challenge, I want to guide you through what you can expect over the course of a few months. In that first month, things are going to be hard. A lot of us cannot squat. A lot of us have sore ankles, sore knees, sore backs. A lot of us fall over. We can't maintain that position. And that's okay because there's things you can do to deal with that. First thing, your goal is to accumulate 30 minutes a day throughout the day within that first 30 days or that first month. If you cannot, you start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes and work your way up because you're not in a rush to go anywhere. There's no time frame. You just have to build up to a time or a point in your life where you feel comfortable doing that. And you're going to start to crave those squats. And that's what we're kind of working towards. Okay, so really quick, I want to share a resource with you that I have available. If you are currently feeling injured, stiff, broken, if you're a professional athlete looking to improve your mobility, my mobility toolkit is currently helping over 50,000 people in 40 plus countries, people ranging from all walks of life, complete beginners, professional athletes, men and women in their 70s and 80s. If you have 15 minutes to spare, this will work for you and it's going to produce dramatic results within weeks. Check it out. So within that first month, you're going to take your timer, you're going to time yourself throughout the day, accumulate as much time in the squat positions as possible. If you lack mobility, elevate your heels onto a slant board, onto some books, onto some plates, and make your position a little bit more comfortable. If you're still struggling, hold on to something, a pole, a bench, a bed, a TRX, whatever you have available to you. Sit back and, just absorb what's happening within your body. You're going to feel all kinds of awkward, and that's cool. We want to be pushing through that stage. Within 1 week, things were starting to open up. And with most of my students who come through this challenge, they experience the exact same thing. It feels hella hard in the first, second, third day, but by the end of the week, things are going to start to click. So those first 30 days, your goal is just to get super comfortable, to spend as much time in that position as possible. And you are going to notice benefits. Your hips are going to feel looser, your lower back's going to feel looser, your posture is going to improve. You're going to feel that you are actually able to sit in there for much, much longer. Not to mention your digestion, your breathing, and just the way you carry yourself is going to improve. It sounds crazy, it sounds dramatic, but it's so powerful. I cannot stress the importance of doing this daily. I would say that this first month is all about pushing through the suck, staying accountable to yourself, building those habits even when you don't feel like it, remembering to do it just like brushing your teeth, and sort of reprogramming the central nervous system to understand that it's cool to be in this position, it's safe to be in this position, and we're actually building towards something more. Now for me, month 2 to 3, and for most people, it would be the same sort of feeling. You're going to start to feel like you're kind of craving these positions, and you're going to remember more and more to do this squatting position, such as when you're brushing your teeth, when you're reading a book, when you're scrolling the internet, when you're waiting for the bus. Wherever you find yourself wanting to either stand, sit, lay down, you're going to be squatting because your body will be already craving this by month 2 or month 3. Within month 2 or 3, you're already going to be able to squat without support if you've been doing it consistently. And for most of us, we will be able to remove that heel elevation. So we will be squatting flat feet. And for me, this became so much more comfortable in month 2 or 3 to the point where I was actually spending, almost 30 minutes in that position at one time. I would be reading a book, I would be answering some emails, I would be just reading something on the internet, and before I knew it, 30 minutes was over. And I often find with my own students, the successful ones, they are the ones who pay attention in the first 30 days. You have to be super diligent. If you want month 2 and month 3 to feel easier, to feel more natural, you have to really pay attention that you tick every single day within those first 30 days. And I often tell my students, if you miss a day, you go back to the beginning. So make sure you don't miss a day. And that's why you start slowly. You start with 5 minutes, you build up to 10, 15, 20, 30. And those 30 minutes can happen in month 2 or 3. It doesn't have to happen straight away. Now, phase 3 of this protocol happens around the month 4 to 6. Now, this was extremely transformative for me because I noticed everything about my training improving. My lower back pain that I had, dealt with for many, many years was completely gone. My scapular issues that I had for many, many months was completely gone. My knees felt better than ever. My hips felt better than ever. My ankles felt better than ever. And I thought to myself, I wasn't doing anything different apart from just squatting. And I had continued the habit. Now it had become sort of instinctual to me. I would just be squatting between sets. I'd be squatting at home, squatting all the time. It had already become a natural part where I was craving that position. I was no longer sitting. I'd get antsy when I'm sitting. I just want to drop down and decompress everything. It became part of my warm-up ritual, my cool-down ritual before bed, when I wake up, all the time. And I promise you, if you stick through the first couple of months, you're going to get to exactly that position. Now, what surprised me the most, in this month 4 to 6, was how much my training improved. My actual squatting under a bar with weight was so much easier. I never felt those niggles. I never felt the tightness in my lower back. I was actually moving with a lot more freedom under the load. My running times improved. I wasn't feeling those stiff hips, those stiff quads, those achy knees and ankles anymore. And I had done nothing different except for introduce the resting squat. And that's how kind of my whole paradigm shifted around mobility and what it actually means. I realized that mobility wasn't something that I needed to train for directly. It was something that I needed to incorporate into my life, into my existence all the time with everything that I did. And if I was able to achieve that human freedom, I would be able to improve my movement practice as well, my sport, my training, everything else that I was doing. I think where most people go wrong is that they think they need to train mobility as an extra part so that they can, feel better, eliminate injuries, but it doesn't really work like that. You have to integrate it into your existence in order to permanently remodel yourself so that you can actually be a well-rounded human, a well-functioning athlete, and someone who doesn't experience these limitations ever. And this squatting challenge, what I would say, it starts as a challenge in the beginning, but then it becomes a habit. It is just integrated into your life, into everything that you do. You don't even notice yourself doing it, right? But most of us, we rush to get underneath the bar, we rush to add more plates to the bar, do more sets, do more reps, but we cannot even do it at home, sitting down, reading a book, resting, going to the toilet. That stuff should come first, and then the training, the movement, the sets, the reps, the load should come after that. And that goes with everything. That's why I'm such a big proponent about integrating hanging, crawling, balancing, brachiating, rolling along the ground, touching the ground, sitting, standing back up. Natural human movements, primal movements, things that, are ingrained in us. If we're able to do that with complete freedom, we can do anything in the gym, in sport. We're going to be resilient in daily life. And that's why in this month 4 to 6, my whole paradigm was shifted when it comes to that. And I understood the importance, not just for resting, squats, but for integrating this movement and mobility into all other areas of my life with all other movements. And the last phase is month 7 to 12, and that's when the squat becomes a part of you. That's when you start to tell everyone else about squats. That's when you start to involve everyone else into your squatting habits. And that's when you become comfortable being the weirdo. Okay, so a lot of times you'll go out, you'll squat in public. People will say to you, "Are you okay? Do you need help? Is everything all right?" Everything's cool. You're just squatting. You're just doing what humans are supposed to be doing. And it's that time where you can actually take this newfound habit, this newfound ability, this freedom, and integrate it into more movement. So you can locomote along the floor. If you do a specific sport like BJJ, things are going to feel so much easier, so much freer. If you like to go dancing, if you like to go to rock climbing class, if you like to participate in martial arts, everything will feel so much freer, so much better for you. You're going to drop down into that position when you feel tired. You're going to drop down into that position when things feel stiff or when you need to open up things. You're going to be able to move through those positions with ease. You're going to be able to rotate your spine. You're going to be able to flex, extend. You're going to be able to do things with your body because all of those movements start from that primal position of a squat. Your lower back will be stronger. Your upper back will be stronger. Your legs will be strong. You'll be able to carry more load. You will be able to function like a resilient, robust human. And most of all, you're going to claim back your independence. If you're someone who cares about aging well, having longevity in your practice, being self-sufficient at 80, 90 years old, this is where it starts. If you look at Southeast Asian men and people in Eastern countries, you see them 80, 90 years old. They're down in that squat, mobile as anything, getting under cars, fixing things, sometimes they're even smoking in that position, right? So you think to yourself, what's going on here? These resilient, robust 80, 90-year-old people, you need to be like that as well. And it's about having that mindset, you want to be a human mover first, and then everything else will come after that. If you're resilient in your movement as a human being, day-to-day life, then you're not going to get injured doing simple things like moving a couch or, stepping over a gutter or bending down to pick up your key. You'll be training your body through movement through life so that you can be resilient when unpredictable things happen, whether that's life or whether that's sport. And for me, I know it sounds so simple, just squat, but that is just so transformative. I know from first-hand experience because it transformed me, but I also know how much it transforms every single student that I come into contact with. Everyone from 85-year-old grandparents to 25-year-old elite athletes to people in wheelchairs to people with multiple sclerosis to people with no limbs. I coach all of these demographics, and I'll tell you one thing. It is same across the board. It is transformative. The squat is something primal, something that you need to reclaim back, and something that is like a gateway, an opening towards so much more beauty in movement that you will be able to explore. But if you don't have these basic things, you will never excel in your movement practice. You will never eliminate your injuries. You will never have that longevity in your practice, and you will not very likely achieve your goals. You cannot be content in thinking that you are a high-level athlete, or you are a fitness trainer, or you are a physio, or you are whoever you are if you care about physical movement and health, but you cannot do the basics, the foundations. You cannot be okay with that. You must master the foundations and then build onto them. Because if you can squat freely for extended periods of time, you'll be able to locomote along the floor. You'll be able to do things like pistol squats. You'll be on your way towards doing more advanced skills. You'll be able to carry heavy load. You'll be able to do so much with your body through freedom, without issues, without fear, and you'll be able to do that for a long time to come. And yes, all of this started with this 30-day challenge for me. All of this brought on this passion about movement, resilience, moving in a way that humans have evolved to move. It started with this beautiful human movement called the squat, and it has evolved into something extraordinary for me, because the world of movement is very vast. But if you cannot do the basics, you cannot even begin to explore what is out there. And the funny thing is, it's so easy to acquire this. Literally all it's going to take is 30 days of dedicated work for you to hit that threshold and for you to notice these changes that occurred in months 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and beyond. And once you get there, there's no going back. You're going to be transformed for life. You're going to be one of those people that wakes up with no pain, no aches, no limitations, and you're ready to tackle the day, physically, mentally, in every single way. Once you reach the point where squatting becomes your default, everything else will improve. Digestion, posture, mindset, breathing, movement, strength, flexibility, you name it, you're going to have it. I promise you, if your body feels stiff, sore, injured, broken, if you feel like you're not reaching your fitness goals, if you feel like you don't know where to start, this is where you start. Squatting. For the next 30 days, accumulate 30 minutes in that resting squat position. Your life will be transformed. Everyone who's undertaken my challenge, and I've put a lot of them out there, my 100-day squatting challenge, my 30-day squatting challenge, my 30 minutes a day squatting challenge, everyone who has tried it has transformed. I see the messages, I see all of the feedback that you guys give. You have been transformed. If you haven't yet undertaken it, start today. Any chance you get, drop down into a squat. Don't think about anything else. In 30 days, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. In 30 days, come back to this video and let me know your results. Happy squatting. See you on the other side.